To see videos like this early as well as other benefits, join me over on my Patreon. Those in the US got to see Discovery's Season 3 premiere a day early, but now it's finally premiered for the rest of us. As usual, I'll be doing a full season review once it wraps up, but for now, how was episode 1? Overall, pretty damn good. I've been super excited about this season ever since we've known they'd be going to the future. I've expected them to do something like this for the longest time, and this was a great introduction to this new time period in the Star Trek universe. Like always, this show is a feast for the eyes, with the location shooting in what looks like Iceland being absolutely gorgeous. However, I also feel like the presentation has calmed down a bit. A valid criticism of Discovery Season 2 was the fast pace of its editing and constantly moving camera. However, here I felt like the visual style calmed down a bit outside of the action sequences. Whoever was behind the camera opted for more locked-down tripod shots or handheld camera during dialogue, which was nice. The show still looks fantastic, of course, with each shot featuring loads of depth and wonderful colours, but overall the pacing allowed for some more breathing room for certain plot points than certain episodes in Season 2 did. Sonequa Martin Green's performance was truly excellent. In the opening few minutes, she runs the full gamut of emotions, shocked and terrified, to overcome with relief, and then crushing despair, which is then quashed by her Vulcan mental discipline, all in the space of about 5 minutes. This is a damn difficult thing for any actor to pull off, and she does it really well. It was also amusing to see the character showcase more humour when subjected to the interrogation drug. I hope Martin Green gets to stretch her comedic muscles more in the future, because her line delivery here got quite a few chuckles out of me. That's not to say she was the only actor giving a great performance here. David Ajala was great as Book. He effortlessly embodied that Han Solo-esque cowboy swagger with a lot of charm and even gravitas. I'm really fascinated to know more about the character's background though. Is he an alien of some sort, or is his ability to commune with other life forms the result of genetic engineering of some kind? Either way, the character is an interesting addition to the cast, and he and Martin Green have some great on-screen chemistry. However, it was Adil Hussain as Aditya Sahil who truly stole the show. His performance was just so earnest and welcoming. The character manages to endear himself to the audience in only about 30 seconds. You truly feel for him and his cause as a true believer. Just a brilliant performance all around, and I can't wait to see more from him. However, the new cast member who put everyone else to shame was Leo, who portrayed Grudge. Frankly, I just want to give this great big ball of fluff a giant cuddle, and I don't care who tries to stop me. The plot of this episode was an enjoyable, fast-paced run through this new setting. I love the new advances in technology, like personal transporters and this programmable matter which most things seem to be made of, perhaps an extrapolation of replicator and transporter technology. Seeing the Andorians return to their menacing roots while teamed up with the Orions was certainly cool, and I'm interested to see what other major races are up to in the 33rd century. The story looks to be a strong one as well. It irritates me to no end those who complain Discovery is quote-unquote too dark, as if that darkness isn't in service of anything larger. Sahil and Burnham's closing scene together as they discuss maintaining hope for the future against all the odds is at the very core of what makes Star Trek Star Trek. Season 1 was all about upholding moral principles in times of crisis, Season 2 was about reconciling faith with logic, and Season 3 will be about rekindling hope in dark times. These themes are absolutely in the spirit of Star Trek, and I'm keen to see what else this season brings. Now that we're out of the 23rd century, Discovery has a lot more creative freedom. Obviously, we know the Discovery crew will come back at some point, and it'll be interesting to see how they develop in this new future. I'm also really interested to meet these other Federation starships which seem to still be kicking, and I'm interested to see what the cause of this burn was. It's possible Discovery could finally hit its stride from now onwards. It took virtually every Star Trek show, bar the original series, a few years to really find its feet, so perhaps Discovery will here as well. Brian Campbell asks, do you think bringing back old sci-fi properties is good, or is it better to create new ones? That depends on which property you're talking about. Star Trek, for example, has loads of avenues which it could explore. There's plenty of room for new shows and new movies in that franchise. But something like Farscape has really run its course, I think, and I doubt there's much more you could do with it that's that interesting. As for new sci-fi properties, of course we should always want to see new stuff. Even though The Orville, for example, is so heavily inspired by Star Trek, it's really nice to see a modern-day show in that TNG style. Even shows adapted from books like The Expanse or Altered Carbon have been really great to see. I think the mistake is in bringing back something old just for the sake of brand recognition. Like, for example, the money a studio would spend on a Space 1999 reboot would really be far better spent on a new IP. There's plenty of room for it on TV after all. Back in the 90s there were about 15 space-based sci-fi shows running at once, and right now there's only like 4 or 5. So yeah, I'd love to see something new. Thanks for watching. If you like what I do and want to see more videos, subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay up to date on all my new uploads. If you like what I do and want to help the channel grow, join me over on my Patreon where you can see videos like this early. Speaking of which, I'd like to quickly thank all of my patrons who are now appearing on screen. Have a good one, and as always, live long and prosper.